Hey guys, welcome to the Reparenting Daily podcast, your daily guide for inner child healing. This podcast helps you establish a consistent reparenting routine and is divided into 3 sections. The first is a daily reading, the second is a discussion of that reading followed by suggested journal prompts, and the last section is a peaceful meditation for closing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whenever and wherever you're joining us. I'm so glad that you're here as we continue on this journey of self-expansion and growth. If this is your first time, welcome. Now, before we dive in, I have a few quick reminders. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Your support here helps us spread the word, allowing us to continue to grow this community. Next, I'd like to introduce our Patreon group, where we have 3 weekly meetings. On Sundays, we have a meditation meeting. On Tuesdays, we have book club meeting. And on Thursdays, we have open topic discussions. These meetings take place at 6 p.m. CEST, so Amsterdam, Paris time. For my next announcement, I'd also like to introduce the Reparenting Daily journal, which you can find on Amazon. This journal follows along with the podcast, so each weekly and monthly themes are reflected in the journal. It provides space for you to keep your notes with plenty of extra resources on each topic that we discuss. It's an excellent tool, and if you purchase it, you can join our weekly meetings for free. Just send me an email and we'll get you linked in. For the last announcement, I'd like to introduce one of my most meaningful creative projects, a 3-volume series entitled Fairy Tales for Reparenting. Now, you might be wondering, why fairy tales? Aren't those just for kids? But through my personal healing journey and in studying the work of Carl Jung, Marie-Louise von Franz, and other spiritual and psychological traditions, I've come to see fairy tales as powerful symbolic maps for transformation. They carry deep, timeless wisdom, especially for those of us doing the hard work of reparenting ourselves. The series follows the structure of the hero's journey. Volume 1 explores the wounded child, stories of loss, betrayal, and innocence. Volume 3 is about the trials of endurance, cunning, and self-discovery. And Volume 3 is the return, stories of transformation, power, and wholeness. Each story is followed by journal prompts and space to reflect on how each story connects to your own inner healing journey. These are not just tales, they're tools. They're an invitation to connect with the part of you that still believes in magic and possibility and healing. You'll find both familiar classic and lesser-known stories from cultures around the world, offering you fresh insights and inspiration on your path. All 3 volumes are now available on Amazon. Your support means so much to me, not just for this project, but for the larger mission of helping myself and others reconnect inwardly. Reparenting is like nurturing a bonsai tree. It's not fast, it's not flashy, but with care, patience, and consistency, it will transform you. Thanks so much for being here and for supporting this work, and also for committing on your personal journey of self-expansion. Now, without further ado, let's dive into today's practice. Today, we're reading from Stanford University, a blog entitled, How is Life Treating You? Trust, Safety, and Respect, the Importance of Boundaries. Just as a reminder, we're in July, and the theme for this month is establishing boundaries and assertiveness. We're in week 1, which is July 1st to the 7th. And the theme for this week is understanding the importance of boundaries. Boundaries help determine what is and what is not okay in a relationship, whether that be with friends, partners, co-workers, bosses, or family members. Ideally, we put them in place to protect our well-being. They help us build trust, safety, and respect in relationships. Common boundaries include emotional, physical, sexual, intellectual, and financial. They could apply to any aspect of your life where you feel they are needed. Are you ready to start setting boundaries? It requires a certain amount of self-awareness and reflection. How to set boundaries? First, it's important to be aware of what is impacting you and what your tendencies are. Before setting a boundary, take time to reflect on your needs, struggles, and how it's impacting your relationships. Say your boss calls you for work after hours, which interferes with your time to rest and focus on school assignments. Setting a boundary might look like communicating to your boss that you are offline during certain hours for these reasons. Reflection and self-awareness will give you a clear idea on what boundary needs to be drawn, so then you can take to the next step of clearly communicating them. After gaining clarity, the second step is to communicate your boundaries. Communication is extremely important in order to set healthy boundaries. Ideally, boundaries are communicated kindly and assertively, focusing on sharing how we feel and what you need in a respectful way. even if feeling anger and spite. These feelings are valid. They are not always the most helpful when communicating a boundary. Boundaries are communicated. You should communicate to check in with yourself about whether or not they're working for you. It may be necessary to have follow-up conversations if boundaries are crossed. For example, if your boss was to continue to tell you to work after establishing a boundary, you can turn your phone off and have a follow-up conversation. Sometimes, taking this step can be difficult, but it's necessary to protect your mental health and well-being. When you find yourself struggling to communicate your boundaries, remind that you are doing so will support your efforts to build and maintain the relationships that are important to you. If you are still finding it difficult to effectively communicate, consider reaching out for additional support. Please note, power dynamics between you and your boss and your supervisor can impact navigating boundaries, and is a great time to consider reaching out for help. That's it, the reading for today. Thanks for being here. Welcome back. Boundaries are not just about keeping others out. They're about protecting what's sacred within. Your time, energy, peace, and sense of self. For those of us reparenting ourselves, boundary setting is how we begin to give our inner child the safety that they never had. When you grew up in chaos, emotional neglect, or constant intrusion, you may have learned that your needs don't matter. You might have become a peacemaker, the invisible one, the overachiever, or the one who never said no. Reparenting invites you to unlearn that pattern. This reading reminds us that boundaries are how we teach each other how to treat us. But first, we must learn to treat ourselves with clarity and respect. Reflection helps us name what's hurting us. Communication helps us draw a line that says, I matter too. And checking in helps us stay anchored in our own healing journey. As we grow in this practice, we no longer tolerate what drains us or disrespects us. We stop hoping people will read our minds and start honoring our truth out loud. That's what real self-trust and self-respect look like. As we go into the journal prompts today, number 1, where in my life do I constantly feel unsafe, unseen, or disrespected? And what boundary could I explore setting in that space? Number 2, what is one small boundary I can practice this week with kindness and clarity? And number 3, how did my caregivers model or fail to model boundaries? And how has that shaped my relationship to saying no, asking for space, and protecting my time? That's it for today. As always, thanks for being here. Take care of yourself, and please do be well. Welcome back. Now, this is the third and final section of the daily podcast. This is your silent meditation. Please go ahead and find a space where you can be comfortable and undisturbed, where you can relax and spend some time with yourself for this 10-minute silent meditation. You can choose to be sitting, standing, lying down, or in whatever position makes you comfortable today. Take a moment to simply be with yourself. Focus on your breath and gently connect with each part of your body. If thoughts arise, don't let them overwhelm you. Just observe them without attachment. Imagine them as leaves drifting down atop a river, passing by without needing your engagement. Stay present, grounded, and open to this moment, no matter what time you are listening and practicing this meditation. Namaste.